Let's talk about Lulu. Why do I like Lulu so much? Aside from the fact that she's really, really weird in terms of design, like random fairy, I think she's really fun and sounds cool. Why do I like her as a support? She's aggressive. So people have run supports like Yorick, and I have done Kennen and Mordekaiser, who are very, very self-reliant. Yorick is not going to buff his teammate and expect him to do damage. Yorick is going to go ahead and just harass with his E, I think his W, and just be a jerk on his own. He'll bring enemies low on his own. He can use his teammate to help kill them, and he's really, really weird and good in this role. Lulu is the same way. If you played Sona, she used to kind of be the same way. She would use her Q, just harass down constantly. Just go power chord, send out hymns of valor, I believe they are. And you win the fight by just poking them down and they're dead. This is how I play Lulu. I use her Q. I just poke a lot with it. It's very, very constant. Just if I see someone out of position, I will go for them. I will just get that damage on them. And the reason I max Q first is twofold. Early on, I believe Lulu is great as a poker. Later on, I think she has great fight control. And the way her slow works is, you go from 80% to 0% throughout the duration of the slow. It's not an 80% slow, it's more of a... If you ever played Warcraft 3, it's a purge effect. And the reason I like extending the slow is, you go from 80% to 0% over 2 seconds instead of over 1 second. So, you now have 1 second where someone has been slowed from 80 to 40, which is a they're essentially in place, that's a massive slow, versus half a second. So you have a pseudo 1 second snare instead of a pseudo half second snare, and it's just really good. Now, the reason I could see maxing out the E first is it's safer. Your carry can absorb some damage if they're getting harassed. You can kind of nuke people down, but you're going to have to get into range of it with it. And I can understand why people would try it. I don't like it as much. I think it's very situational. If you're not doing well in lane, put points in your E. If you cannot poke them down, put points in your E. Because you know what? You need to be safe. You need to make sure you don't lose the game at laning. Mid to late game, you just become a CC bot. You will keep everyone away or everyone in place, depending on what your team needs to do. You're not like Janna, where her ult is primarily for keeping people out of the fight. Why is my auto bounce freaking out? Anyhow. So you're not like Janna, who has to do that. You are your own thing, and you will keep adjusting, and if you need to CC and dive on the enemy team, you can do it. If you need to CC and protect your carry, you can do it. Now, masteries and runes. Now, masteries I'm not sure about. You can do 9-0-21, you can do 9 or 0-9-21. I prefer the offensive summoners because I'm going for this poke, but at the same time, being tanky is great. And if they have someone who's going to be gunning it for you or a very, very aggressive bot lane, go for it. Matchups with Lulu, anyone who can help you poke is going to be great. So Caitlyn will be awesome for it. And anyone who's not going to be more passive. So Ashe would not recommend it. You can try and win the lane on your own, try and keep this lane control, but you want follow-up, and Ashe isn't that great at it. Lamps to watch out for, anyone who can punish you for your poking. So, not Leona. Leona can actually not get in range of your poking, but she can actually punish you afterwards by going for your carry when your slow's on cooldown. So I guess Leona's just weird because she's very, very scary, but everything can go horribly or can go super well. Yeah. Now, carries to be scared of, anybody who will burst you down before you can react or can just punish you when you CC. Graves can do it very well. I mean, it's not really one person to be scared of. You have to be scared of their compositions. And if they can punish you for CCing, they can punish you for CCing. And they will. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, runes. Runes I'm also kind of weird about. I really, really like the tankiness from Armor Reds, Armor Yellows, GP5 Quint, and Magic Resist Blues. I don't use a lot of mana on Lulu because I'm not using the E. The E uses a lot more mana. So you can kind of forego some mana regen. And, oh, what you doing? Webcam, what you doing? There we go. There we go. So I forgo a lot of mana regen. I still build a Philostone. And let's see. Is there anything else besides runes, masteries? No. I just play her very aggressively. I'm gonna be in your face. I'm gonna be CCing you. Max her Q, then her W, then her E. Get a point in all three by level 3 or level 4, depending on how your lane is going. And be rude, be cool, be this witch turning people into squirrels. It's awesome. Okay, now before my webcam freaks out and lags out again, I'm gonna end this recording. Adios, folks. So last we left off, our teams were about equal. They have Baron, they got a few kills, but we had a lot of kills early, and our farm wasn't good, but it wasn't too horrible. But we started a fight here for no reason. And it's going badly for a few reasons. A, we initiated. Our team cannot do that. B, Rincent ulted Vladimir into Caitlyn, so Vladimir gets his combo off. C, I just went back to buy a Reverie. And D, Ryze was split off. This fight could not have gone worse unless I'd been there and just died immediately too. And this is going to cost us. This is really bad. This is huge. I mean, I'm able to get away just because I have Reverie and a slow. I couldn't use a Reverie to save Rincent because he was slowed by Tryndamere and it wouldn't have been enough. The other advantage is that it's taking Bobby Handkill so long to die that Caitlyn and Udyr are going to be coming up relatively soon. Rincent too. So we're going to lose an inhibitor out of this. We're not going to lose the game. We can hold if they keep pushing. And the question is, well, why'd that happen? People thought that the enemy team was out of position and we could start a fight on them. The truth is, we don't have great ways to start fights. We have Urgot, but usually you see a lot of Urgot Janna. A vast virus database has been updated. So usually you see Urgot starting fights, but we don't have anything to really protect Urgot once he's in. Like, I can ult, but that's going to be a short CC, and it might not work. And it's also going to put me very far forward. We have very good catches and very good artillery, but not fight. They, on the other hand, have a very, very divey team. They can get to Caitlyn relatively easily. They can get to me easily. And if they get there, then they're just going to kill us so quickly that we're not going to get any damage out, and they have a tanky team themselves. I mean, Tryndamere has his ult, Vladimir has his HP, so we'll just lose a fight if we get into this. Now, this exchange here is really, really weird because we're both very scared. They're kind of split up, so that's why they don't want to fight. We're terrified because they can kill us. And that ward there from Janna was huge. This could have cost us the game right here. We see Kennen show up for a brief second. And even though I see the ward and could get an auto attack off, I immediately back up just because I don't want to die to Kennen for a ward. It's not worth it. We see that they'd split up though, so I put down my ward and we get into a push on bottom. They want to start a fight. We want to kite them into a fight. We want to be by our tower, just constantly protecting our Caitlyn and slowly killing them essentially. They know this, and they're going to be very, very aware of this for the game. They don't want to take too much of a risky dive, and they're going to back off, and this is good for their team. What they can do is they can take objectives, they can take red, they can take blue, they can take golem, and hold map control. Just have Janna constantly go everywhere, sweeping for wards. So if we do this, or if they do this, and just keep the map in their control, what are we going to do? We're not going to be able to contest Barons because we won't have vision or timing. We're not going to be able to contest Dragons or Blues. We'll get a lot of farm, but they'll get a lot of map, and they can still get farm. We still have waves pushing out. But if they're impatient and try and start a fight, it could go terribly. Or they could catch out Rincent, which could also go terribly. But for us instead. So this is just kind of an engage. They're very, very scared of us. They don't want to get into a kite fight, like I said. And they back off. This is decent play. I think they could have actually made a good play there. Like, they might have been able to jump on Caitlyn, but with a Quicksilver Sash, she's hard to kill. So they're just being very careful. They knew Baron was up soon, and they go for it. Something we just fail on so hard is we do not time Baron in this game for so long. Dragons too. We were just lazy. That's just bad play coming out from our team. Kennen tries to rush me down after the Baron. He blows his flash and his ult, and that's actually pretty big. This Kennen's a bit too jump the gun when it comes to flash and ult. And wasting your skills like that, especially to kill a support who can get away, is gonna be... it can cost you quite a bit. And it's gonna be risky, and it just wasn't worth it. They did kill Udyr. Udyr got caught up by Tryndamere, who's much harder to escape from because he has Exhaust and his Shout. So once Udyr was caught, he was dead. Now here we have to let this inhibitor go. We can try and fight, we can try and poke, but we're not going to get anything done. I mean, right there, Vladimir just takes out a huge chunk of Caitlyn's HP with 2 spells. And if they get any follow-up on that, they're going to kill Caitlyn, they can kill the rest of us after that, and we're dead. We get into an interesting fight here. So Kennen got caught out to the side, Caitlyn got caught out poking the enemy at our other inhibitor, and while creeps do finish that inhibitor, Caitlyn gets away and we kill Kennen. I barely survived trying to help protect Caitlyn. And we get a good swap in on Vladimir, who is going after me. Now, here I am with 60 HP because of Tides of Blood. We get the CC we need on Vladimir. Riven's going in to save Vladimir. Riven is now caught out. Vladimir dies too, and they just gave us a bunch of kills. Tryndamere and Janna survive. Tryndamere's going to keep pressuring bottom, so is Janna, and that was not terrible for them, but that was not what they needed. They need to kill us. They need to get this game over with. We can hold decently. We have so much control that if they keep going for dives like that, we're going to start winning fights. And if we start winning fights, then they're going to run into problems. All of a sudden, we're going to start going out there and poking. And if we can leave our base safely and push safely, they're going to have a lot of trouble getting to our carries and killing them if they position well. And 2 Pro for you is pretty good at positioning. Now, they got the inhibitor. That is actually very important. I mean, it may have not been, because it would have been so low they could have followed up very easily. But now, we've got to defend very, very hard. We can't leave the base. We're not going to get the next Baron. We didn't time it, so that's one reason we're not going to get it, but those 2 5-minute inhibitor respawns are just going to be too much for us to actually leave our base to get that Baron. If we get Baron, they can go ahead, send Tryndamere to backdoor, they can backdoor themselves as a team, and the 8 seconds it takes for us to get back, we will lose the game. And they're just going to keep sieging. They want to pressure. They want to pressure while Caitlyn has to defend the other lanes. This is a fine tactic, especially if there isn't anything left to take on the map. And they have Baron buff too, so they got a lot of damage. Now, sadly in solo queue, you can't be that organized. So we're all kind of wondering how to initiate a fight. Like, how do we start a fight here? Right there, that could have been a good grab on somebody. This entire section, we might be able to grab somebody. They'd be very, very hard pressed to follow up. And we don't. We're just kind of scared. That would have been awesome. And it's true, we screwed up. But we're going to try and, hold this. If we can keep holding this tower, that's another chance for our inhibitors to respawn and to get back in this game. They get the tornado onto Rinsen, and they go immediately after Caitlyn. And this is where we start seeing the control come in. Vladimir is CC'd. Tryndamere is caged by Ryze. The only person who can move forward right now is Riven. But I have Exhaust for Riven. And we just kind of control them and don't let them get into the fight. Vladimir does get up. He is able to actually follow through with some damage. Tryndamere had to back up because he was low. And they just don't have the potential to break through our solid front line to get to Caitlyn. Caitlyn, by the way, who is absolutely terrifying with her item build right now. I mean, she is kind of squishy, but that Quicksilver Sash is really important. Something you're seeing a lot at tournaments lately, actually, is that Quicksilver Sash. So, right here, you can see that we came out ahead in kills. That's really good. But Quicksilver Sash is really getting important now. It's because CC, those quick CC catches are super important in tournaments. You can catch one person with 1 CC and win a game based off that. So, carries also want to make sure that in a fight, they can always do damage. So if someone blows a cooldown on them, they're not screwed. They can use their Quicksilver back up. The cooldown isn't wasted, per se. They did blow the Quicksilver, but then the carry's going to be alive and attacking while they're waiting for CC to come back up. So this is a good little combination of CC between me and Udyr. Tryndamere cannot get away. He blows his exhaust when he dies. That's not a good move. You need to save CCs like that. Especially in this case, Tryndamere needs it to follow up on Caitlyn. He needs to save that CC for when he's diving onto Caitlyn. If she quicksilvers anything but anything else, his shout, a cannon stun, he needs to follow up. And right here, this is just us getting into good fights. They have Tryndamere down. They actually don't have Riven here for this fight. We're just going to break on through and pick up Vladimir. They're tanky, but Caitlyn does a lot of damage now, and being tanky only goes so far. This push is only to get the inhibitor. We know we can't finish. We know Tryndamere is going to come back, and if we fight, we're dead. We've used a lot of cooldowns. Tryndamere should have his ult up. And we just want this inhibitor. We want this extra bit of pressure to help take control of the game. We go for Baron. We don't know if it's up yet. This is, once again, timings just coming into play. We don't check the timings. And this is something that is just laziness, honestly. And I'm going to be super critical about it because it can cost quite a bit. We're hoping they'll catch us, or we'll catch them trying to go set up for Baron, but we have to immediately go back to defend. If we leave the base, they'll kill our inhibitor. And I kind of go for that ward, which is risky, but we see Ken and we see Janna. We know we're relatively safe to get it. And Baron spawns, and we didn't have timing. It actually takes him a while to do it. About 3820 is when it died, I believe. And I call timing. It's an estimate, but it's still a timing. And that is something we've needed this entire game, to call out timings on Drag and on Baron. I'm not going to blame Rinsen. I'm not going to say our jungler should have done it. Really, anyone should have done it. It doesn't matter if you're the AP mid, the top, the carry, the support, the jungler. Call timings, especially if you see them happen. Like, if you're looking top and you have to take a guess at what time the blue dies, then not as big a deal. But if you see Baron die, if you see them doing Baron and can guess when it's going to die, get that timing out so your team can be ready to follow up. Anyhow, that's enough of that rant. We're back to defense. They have Baron again. We have Super Cait team still. And we're going to win fights not because of our damage numbers, but because of our control. So right there, my slow hits both Kennen and Tryndamere. Tryndamere uses his slow, and it's actually really big that he does, because when he spins onto Caitlyn, he doesn't have anything to slow her except his exhaust. However, what's Caitlyn going to do? She's going to flash away from Kennen ult and just blow her Quicksilver Sash to, oh, she's even blow her Quicksilver Sash. I mean, there just wasn't enough follow-up because she still had her Quicksilver Sash in her escape. So Kennen gets CC before he can really follow up. Tryndamere is low on HP, so he's going to have trouble diving. And now Riven and Vladimir did get to Caitlyn. But look where they are. They're at our 2 Nexus turrets. And we have just enough to keep Caitlyn alive to kill both Vladimir and Riven. Kennen can't follow up because his ult's down. He can still do auto attack damage. It's very high because he's AD. Tryndamere can't follow up because he had to blow his ult. They just don't have anything to really keep us there or win a fight now. Janna's able to escape, but that's not that important. We just killed 3 people for 1, so we can actually push out of the base now. Udyr's going to heal up and defend against Tryndamere, because Tryndamere is totally going to backdoor. Because, I mean, what else is he going to do? And sadly, Modesty, boy, will die before he gets 2 inhibitors. He did get 1, and that's bad for us, of course, but it means we're equal on inhibitors now. We're not going to get this inhibitor up here. We just don't have the time. We're not taking any risks because we know we can win a team fight. And now that we know this, and now that we can keep holding this, and more importantly, we're aware we're winning not because of our numbers, like our damage. Damage doesn't matter. It's our control. It's the fact that if you're that Tryndamere, if you're that Riven, you'll be turned into a sheep, or not a sheep, wrong game. You'll be turned into a squirrel. You'll be trapped in a cage. You'll be stunned by a bear. You will just not make it to where you need to go. So we're confident now. We're actually pushing as a team. We've left our base. We have no turrets up except our Nexus turret. If Tryndamere backdoors, we will win the game. there is a very, very risky timing for Tryndamere. He needs to get through the defense of the tower, and we can just crush his team in the meantime. So right now we're going to, get into another fight. This engagement is not as clean because we're a bit too aggressive. We're not setting up a trap for them to walk into. We're trying to be aggressive and get into this fight. Also, Janet will get a good ult off and screw up our positioning, but I use my locket. I don't use Reverie because I want to save it for actual kiting. And we start getting this good poke off. Vladimir ult lands on 4 people. That's actually really bad for us. But we're able to clean him up. That Vladimir ult took out Rinsen and Uter. That was huge. But they were also low on HP. We could scare them off and just take this inhibitor. So go us. We're still equal on inhibitors. This is important because we're not going to lose the game just for leaving our base. And we do something really, really dumb. So Baron's up at 45. Rinsen and Uter will be up then. We camp Baron. And we catch Tryndamere. That is awesome. Now, Kennen's going straight for our bottom next inhibitor. And when I say we do something dumb, I mean me and Bobby Henkill and Caitlyn hang around trying to catch someone again. And Janet does show up, but we're not going to kill her. She made some mistakes in landing, but she's not dumb. She's not going to walk into that bush that we've been camping and just be like, "What's up, guys? How you doing, Mr. Electrical Man and Tiny Witch?" No, the Janna's going to play safely and smart. And this is the end of the game. This is the big moment. This is the final fight. Turrets are down across the map. There's only 3 turrets up for red, 2 turrets up for blue. And this is possibly the coolest thing I've seen an AD carry do. I'm not going to say 2Pro4U single-handedly won this game, but I am going to say he single-handedly won this fight. Carries do so much damage late game. Caitlyn, who's considered a weak AD carry, just 4-shot Kennen. And they're just able to murder everybody. Without that Kennen ult, they don't have any real CC. They have Riven stun and Janna. Janna's dead too, though. And Riven actually goes for the steal. And, I mean, at that point, the game was already lost. Riven didn't need to steal. It didn't matter if she stole it or not. We were going to win. Tryndamere can't stop us. Vladimir can't stop us. That was GG. That was 2Pro4U just doing this awesome play. And I can't even say like how you set that up. That was just Kennen getting out of position. The other team assumed Caitlyn would be at Baron. They didn't see her though, and they need to draw the conclusion she wasn't with us. And that was just such a cool pickup. And we won the game of Protect the Caitlyn. So this was Studio. This is my conversation on Lulu, on Control. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all tomorrow or Wednesday. Right, no, tomorrow is Wednesday. I'll see y'all someday. Adios.